Welcome to Parev TV. Once again, we have an exciting program with two pillars of the community, prominent members of the community. Joining us is Mr. Garnik Danagulian, who is the Executive Director of FAR, Fund for Armenian Relief, and Master Pianist, a good friend, Shahan Arzuni. And the topic is a concert series entitled Together for Armenia. We've always been for Armenia together, but this is a very special concert series sponsored by FAR and curated by Shahan Arzuni. And we would like to know more about it. So, Garnik, maybe we could start with you. What is the purpose of this concert series?
Well, the purpose of everything that FAR is doing is to reach out and support people in Armenia in need. So that's the short answer. In this particular case, I think it was, we were flabbergasted by the idea Shahan has. I think it's an incredible idea that through promoting and introducing the rich Armenian culture and using that, making people give money so that we could reach out and help more people in Armenia, especially at this particular time. It was just wonderful.
Shahan, I guess the information is with you. You are very relaxed. We are very excited to hear details. Who will be participating in this concert series? And what other details can you share with us?
Before I do that, I wanna mention that the whole idea actually came from Sandra Shahinian. Mm-hmm. One day she emailed me and said, why don't you do some concerts online? People would love it. Then I said, why me? Let me have all the other Armenian performers and ask Garnik, FAR, whether they will present it. And that's how it happened. I have the connections, and Garnik is helping me, and we have all kinds of other people. One is in Dubai, actually, who's editing the tapes. There is one in South Carolina, and then there is one in Baltimore. So the entire world is under our thumb, the thumb of the Armenian culture. Now, what we are doing is a series. We are planning on presenting those short, it's half hour only, short online concerts every other week, twice a month. And the first one we are starting is on Thursday. It will be posted at 12 noon. You will give more information about it, I'm sure, Vartan. And I wanted to start with something so familiar to everybody, which is Gomidas's Grung. But in this case, the work is arranged by the cellist Sergei Aslamazyan for violin and piano. Sergei Aslamazyan put together the Gomidas Quartet. The Gomidas Quartet, Armenia's Gomidas Quartet, was founded in 1924. It's the longest surviving and performing string quartet today. It's been around for 96 continuous years. That's extraordinary, I think. So, Anika Vafyan, she is a very well-known artist worldwide. She's a founding member of the Lincoln Center Chamber Music Players. She and I are doing this arrangement of Grung by Aslamazyan, and then she is performing a Bach piece, the Adagio, from the first unaccompanied violin sonata. It's been difficult to synchronize because when we are doing Zooming, it's not synchronized Zooming. But in music, you know, we have to play together, absolutely together. So there were a lot of technical issues that we had to overcome. Then the second performer, and he's playing only 8 minutes. After that, there is Aradincha. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy and a wonderful musician. And Ara is going to play. I wanted him to do it outdoors. So this is in his porch outside. And it sounds much better, I think, much more interesting when he's surrounded by greenery. So he's doing a number of Armenian pieces, all his own arrangements. One is Alakias, Chinares, those are Gomidas pieces. And then Kusan Ashot's Sari Sirunyar. And he is finishing with a traditional, Armenian traditional folk dance, which is Tamzara. After that rousing performance comes Christopher Nazarian, whom I met quite recently. Christopher is from Australia, and he's been here for a while, I guess 3 or 4 years, and he is now with the Sarasota Opera Company. And he is doing the winter season, but unfortunately the opera is closed. So I asked him, I've heard him, and he is absolutely gorgeous. He reminds me of Ara Berberian. He is doing Gomidas's Hayastan. And then he's following with something I had never heard. I knew that Arno Babajanyan wrote a lot of pop music, but I didn't know this particular work. And he's singing in Russian, and in translation, it is called Do Not Hurry. It's a gorgeous, 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 truly gorgeous piece, which he is doing, and closing with Lara's very well-known, popular Granada. So that's about half an hour. I'm doing some commentary in between, and that's it. That's the first presentation.
Garnik, you know, we keep Sean mentioning Sandra Leitner, we keep mentioning online programs, we keep mentioning synchronization. People don't realize the amount of work that goes into the production of such a venture concert series. Could you say a few words about the challenges you had to face?
Are you talking to me?
No, Garnik.
Garnik, okay.
I think Sean will continue because he's working closer with them nowadays than I am, but we were lucky to have very innovative and creative people who are part of our team. One of them is Andre Berg, who is the communication director of FAR. The other person, Adam Rosenblatt, he has been working with Shahan for quite some time. Again, as I said, they are good. They're very good in using technology and bringing it in to feature the. It could be art, it could be a piece of text or whatever. But in addition to that, it's a pleasure to work with them. But I would leave it to of course, Shahan, to say how pleasure it was for him to work with.
Sean, you have done a lot.
Demanding too.
Sean, you've done a lot for the. You've done a lot for the community. We all know you, but the fact that you keep pushing it, even during the coronavirus, even during the pandemic, you don't rest. There's this spirit of moving forward with the talent that is supporting you, and you know you're connected with. Tell us about the challenges and maybe a few more pieces that will be in the concert series. What other music?
I'll do that. But let me just say one more thing about Adam Rosenblatt. He is, by profession, a percussionist. Mm-hmm. And Andre actually introduced him to me when I was preparing the Hovannes CD. There were 2 large pieces for piano and percussion. And Adam recorded with me the percussion part. That's how I got to know him. I had no idea that he was versed in videography and editing and all of that. So that's about Adam. I just, he is not just a technician. He's not a techie. He is a musician of first rate. I've seen his concerts. They're very innovative. But your question is, look, I went to Armenia in 1975 for the first time. And in the 80s and the 90s, I would go there at least 6, 7 times a year. If I look in my passport, there are about 150 plus stamps. That means I've been to Armenia that many times. So I have been to the provinces. I have interacted with the people. In those last years, FAR has been very useful to me. I mean, they've been able to arrange those concerts in Artsakh and in Perth and here and there. So our mutual work has been very beneficial, I think, to both sides. But I'm just very passionate about being Armenian, about Armenian culture, and I want the Armenians to be well known. I was absolutely flabbergasted last night when there was a lady named Anna on Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Young Turks, the program is called. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the thing, she said that she was actually Anahit Kasapian. Mm-hmm. And she was married to a Turk. And she brought up the whole genocide issue on Fox News and talked about the fact that, the Turks were not recognizing it properly and all that. I was flabbergasted. I mean, there are so many Armenians all over the place, and they have the Armenian spirit. If we can just bring them to our own side, we would be as strong, if not stronger, than the Jews.
Sean, you mentioned the 3 artists who will be joining you, Annika Valfian, Aradik, Jan Christopher Nazarian.
Yeah.
They will be performing what other songs in other series? Do you have any idea? Just give us...
Oh, they're not. We have a totally different program next time. That would be Hasmik Makanejian.
Well, different artists every time.
Oh, of course. I mean, we have so many artists, So Hasmik is going to do some Sharagan, and she's going to record them in the St. Vartan Cathedral. Like Ara did it outdoors. I want some change in the background, right? And then Armen Donelian, the jazz pianist, is doing some numbers from his new CD, which are improvisations on Sayat Nova's songs, melodies. And finally, we have Narek Harutyunyan, the clarinetist, and he and I will be doing Khachaturian's Nocturne from the Masquerade Suite, and he's going to do the Spanish variations. So,
this is a very ambitious program. Garnik Nandagulan, you have headed FAR for past, I believe, 16 years or so?
Yeah.
16 years, let us say, more or less. But
you know better than I do. Yeah, that's right.
I've done my research. I also know that you have brought leadership to FAR and continuous leadership, and your programs have been very, very successful. One other thing I would like to mention here, and I'd like you to add, is that your beginnings were in mathematics and physics, in the sciences, and then you went to a school of diplomacy, and then you went to somehow you ended up in Harvard. Other times you were called to serve the government as the Minister of Trade. And finally you came into the laps of FAR and you felt most comfortable in FAR. My question to you, looking back, do you see how you were prepared and what prepared you best for this position which you are conducting in a very beautiful and successful manner?
Well, I don't know. I think my whole life, now looking back, I think my whole life I have been training myself, preparing myself for this particular mission. And I'm happy to be with FAR, which is one of the marvelous organizations in the Armenian diaspora and well beyond the diaspora, with the people of FAR. And together we trying to help and empower the people in Armenia. I could have only dreamt about this. This is like dream come true. So looking back at all these glorious past that you mentioned, this is the mission of my life. And I enjoyed it because I work with incredible people. Shahan is one of them. Our board of directors are incredible people with the big heart. One of the best people I have ever met in my life. The people in Armenia on the ground that do not just report to their job. It's the mission of their life. In this most critical time in the Armenian history, they are there for people in Armenia. And by the way, I wanted to share with you something I heard today when we were talking about reaching out to help people in Tavush. And I asked the lady who is running our operation in Tavush, what happened to that war? I remember that the war was called April War. Anun Deretsin, she said, yeah, Anun Deretsin. Hachtanaz Hulisian Paterav. I like that. I like that very much. Very much.
Garnik, as you know, very well know, we should all know these things, that FAR was founded after the earthquake around 1988. And the three pillars were Kevor Kovnanian, Edgar Hovsepian, and Archbishop Torko Manugyan. So there were many people who prepared us for the mission, which we are continuing so effectively. What can you tell us about some projects you're really working on these days in the support and help for Armenia? I know there are many, many.
Well, FAR has a diversified portfolio of projects. We are working in helping and empowering, especially younger generation of Armenia. We are active in child protection. I would take a risk and liberty of saying that maybe FAR is the champion in child protection in Armenia. We are very active in the healthcare. We are extremely active in supporting the education and science in Armenia. We have humanitarian programs and of course economic and job development programs. All of these projects are outside of Yerevan mostly. Currently, we are reprogramming many of our traditional programs in trying to focus and reach out to support people who have been affected by the consequences of the COVID-19 and recently by the Hachtanats Hulisian Paterazm, of course. So that's how we trying to do it. In doing so, we have very able people in Armenia who help us to do that. We have an office in Yerevan, we have an office in Gyumri, we have an office in Tavush, exactly in the town of Berd. We have an old age home in Vanadzor, and by the way, Shahan is one of the, not just one of the, he is the sponsor of that major program that is the safe haven for elderly people. Even though our programs are diversified, we are very keen on being cost-effective, result-oriented, and helping people in need and trying to empower people. We're very happy when we see that, for example, an orphan some 10 years ago was the recipient of the FAR stipend program with the Children of Armenia sponsorship program. Today, she or he is a beneficiary of FAR educational scholarship program, or someone who was the beneficiary of FAR scholarship program today is the beneficiary of FAR ANSEF program, Armenian National Science and Education. These are the things that makes us really proud and recharged us so that we're doing the right thing. Again, people of FAR, that's what makes it different.
And the leadership of FAR.
Yeah.
Yeah. You spoke very beautifully by saying FAR champions is a champion of child care. And I think you are right in a sense that we know that there are many other organizations doing similar work in Armenia. They're working in parallel to FAR, and we would like to recognize them too. Sean, when we spoke about war some time ago with some friends, they said to win a war, for war, you need three things. And it was said in Armenian, tram, tram, tram. And I would think the same thing is also for these benevolent works, for these charitable works. Garnik Danagulia needs, or FAR needs, tram, tram, tram to realize all these projects. Are we on the right track? How can you address this issue and tell people to give to FAR?
Well, primarily the reason we are doing the concert series is to raise money. And hopefully people will donate. There will be a donate button at the end of the program. And I'm hoping that people will be generous because we are presenting the best of Armenian artistry and the best of the Armenian artists. And I beg of you, the listeners, to just open your purses and give it very, very generously. It'll help. I know that FAR is one of the very few organizations that uses the money very effectively. I've been involved since 1988 when it was first formed. It was Jack Andreassian. You should know this, right, Barta?
Absolutely.
At that time, he asked me if I would be the president.
Really?
Of FAR. I said, no, that's not something I know anything about. And besides, I said, I'm a pianist. I want to continue my artistic vision. So I turned him down. But I have been very closely associated with FAR, especially after 2001, when my aunt and her husband, Georg and Silvat Karamanuk, established the Vanator Old Age Home. And it is with their money that today the establishment, the organization is standing. There are some 60 old age people and a huge staff of 25 people who are there safe and sound. I call almost every week just to make sure that nobody has COVID there. I mean, they are so inventive, these people, that the staff doesn't go home. For 2 weeks, they stay there. They don't go home. And then they take 3 or 4 days at home. There's actually, I have stayed there at night just to see what is happening. The only thing that happened was a dog barking and barking and barking. But it's a gorgeous, gorgeous place. So that gives me the incentive to go on and contribute within my own powers, abilities to help FAR and other Armenian organizations.
I think the title of the concert is very appropriate, Together for Armenia. Garnik, can you just make a closing statement addressed to viewers? What would you like to tell them?
Well, I want to join Sean, what he said, that we really hope that the series of these concerts will make people to become generous and reach out to support so that we can help our people in Armenia. I also want to say that it is, I know what Sean can do, can put together what Sean can do himself. I think it's a powerful message to all Armenians all around the world that at this critical time, it's the music, the Armenian culture, the spirit of Armenia that comes together, and once again, they are next to our people in need. That's a very powerful message. That's a very, very powerful message. And for that, I'm very thankful to Sean for his creativeness, in addition to all of the other faculties this man has. Thank you so much.
We thank you for your leadership once again, Garnik Nandagoyan, and I say most sincerely, your leadership has been very, very important in this organization's success. Sean, in closing?
Let's go on, continue. I want to do at least 12 of those concerts because the first time, the second time, you know, people are not quite excited. I've gotten in touch with all kinds of people, not just people living here, but people, artists in Europe, artists in Armenia, in South America. I've gotten in touch with many, many people, and they're all excited. But let's see what kind of response we are getting from the first, second, and third concerts. Then I will become international, go outside of, because with the technology, I mean, you can do this so easily. Not so easily, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it took a long, long time until they figured out how it had to be done. But now we know. Now we know, and we can do it very easily. Give generously, please. Thank you.
That's a beautiful way to end. Be generous, and would like to wish you all the best, and thank you for giving your time and your mind to us in this interview. Thank you, Garnik Nandagoyan and Shahan Arzuni. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.